Hey everyone, if you've been in QA for a couple of years now, you might have noticed that the field is rapidly changing. Unfortunately, what that also means is that there are waves of layoffs going on, and this can affect many people, whether you're a junior or senior. I recently found a post on Reddit that made me think this person has been part of a company that's currently going through layoff, and QA is getting affected. Over the 15 years, he has gained a lot of expertise as a manual QA. Now the company is shifting, there's a lot of fear on what's going to happen next. I have replied to that Reddit post, but I also want to share some of my thoughts here. So even though I'm picking one of the cases from Reddit, I feel like this situation is not that uncommon. I see that we as testers often dive into the expertise of a certain company, but then once we are no longer part of that company, it's really hard to apply that expertise somewhere else. Or at least we feel like it, but it actually might not be true. Testers are usually jack of all trades. They do release management, they find bugs, they have technical knowledge. They maybe know automation, although this was not the case. It is important to understand and maybe to write that knowledge down and get a better understanding of what are your strengths, what it is you have experience with. Because in different companies, you can reframe that same skill in a different way. There's a chance that there's a company that's looking for exactly your skills, but maybe they don't frame the role as a tester. Maybe it's a product owner, or it's a scrum master, or release manager, or something along the lines. What I'm trying to say is you need to get out of the mindset of, oh, I'm only valuable inside this company, because there's always something you can offer. If you have been working as a manual QA and haven't really delved into test automation, but think that maybe now is the time, I highly recommend checking out Test Automation University by Applitools. There's a ton of resources, they're all for free, and you can learn test automation of any kind. It's never too late to start learning, so don't feel like you've missed the train on test automation. Another area where you might want to get some expertise these days is AI. I know some of you might roll their eyes hearing me say this, because there's a lot of noise out there and it's really hard to make distinction on whether this is a good resource or this is a bad resource. Right now what we need to do is to dig through and find the gems. AI is here to stay. Many companies are shifting, and if you want to stay on top, you need to gain at least some knowledge. Now, gaining knowledge in AI does not mean that you have to become a prompt engineer. What you can do is to apply your existing expertise and enhance it by AI. So for example, if you're a test automation engineer, you can make yourself faster by utilizing AI. Or you can try to make your test automation more stable. Or maybe there's another avenue that you didn't know about. But also you can use AI to boost your learning. It's been a couple of months since I've been using Cursor, and it has been a godsend. Not only can I do all of the things that I have mentioned, but I have also boosted my learning. So for example, when Cursor generates a bunch of code for you, you can read through and maybe generate something you don't understand. You can just go ahead and highlight the piece that you don't understand, and Cursor can actually do a really good job of explaining what's happening in the code. So it's not like you're outsourcing everything to AI. You're making yourself better with AI. Another thing you might want to take a look into, given the current job market situation, is making your work visible. So even if you are just starting with code, create a GitHub account, push your repositories and make your work visible. It's been a while since I have been conducting job interviews, but any candidate that would have their GitHub and could show their work would immediately get extra bonus points. It also made my job a little bit easier because I could understand where the candidate was technically at. But most importantly, it showed that they're willing to learn, They're experimenting, trying new stuff. And that's the kind of stuff that can make you stand out as a candidate. What might be even better if you write your blog and you share your learnings. Sometimes I get approached by people that want to start their own blog and they want to write some articles. And usually what they do is they try to create a backlog of articles and then publish them every week. And usually what I do, I stop them and tell them, listen, don't try to create a backlog. Try to create a blog post that you will be able to publish every week. In other words, make the blog short. Make the blog focus on one topic only. And if you don't know what the topic is, just ask yourself what it is that you have learned this week that you didn't know last week. There's a lot that can be learned, and you probably know about that. How cool would it be if you find your own blog article 1 week earlier? It would probably boost your learning. And there's always someone who knows a little bit more and someone who knows a little bit less about a given topic. If you focus on those that want to learn, you'll always find your audience. I also recommend going to local meetups, or maybe even travel if there's no near you. Local meetups are a great way to find new people and to do networking. I know people usually go to meetups because there's some interesting content. And that's great, it's really important. But I would argue even more important is that you meet new people. Shake hands, make new friends. Maybe there's someone in the network that's currently hiring. They're looking for interesting people and maybe you are that interesting person. Knowing a lot of people in the community can be a great help. And also it helps you to not stay isolated, which is something that happened to many of us after the pandemic. The last thing I want to mention is that even if you're currently not looking for a new job or haven't been laid off, it is really important to think about this stuff. Try to ask yourself what's left without the company that you're currently working for. There's probably a lot that you can offer, and there's probably a lot that you can improve. Even if you love the company that you're working for, there may be situations where they will not be able to afford to pay you. And in those cases, it's really good to be prepared. Hopefully this video is helpful. See you in the next one. Happy testing.